Good morning. Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. I'm going to give it just a couple minutes to see who joins us this morning. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy some of my coffee. I just fogged my glasses up a little bit. This is one of my favorite mugs. CEO, creative, energetic, and optimistic. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm always optimistic. Working on the energetic part, but so we're gonna give it just a few more minutes and see what everybody's doing. I know it's Saturday morning and we all have really busy lives, but while we're waiting for a few folks to join us this morning, I'm gonna go ahead and start showing you the garden. So we're gonna turn it around here. So as you all know, on last week I reported that the garden was recovering from the move and from the extreme heat. But then this week, it faced yet another challenge. Wednesday morning, I woke up to discover that the HOA was having the community power washed, which is great, because we all want to live in a clean community. And I was happy to see that they moved my patio furniture and the plants that were sitting right by the front of the house. So they moved my zinnia, which is doing lovely. They moved the mint, which is still doing well. And they moved good morning, DJ Ty. And they moved the rose bush. But what they didn't do was move my tomato plant, my green pepper, and my lemon balm. So I came out of the house just in time to see water that was full of suds and bleach dripping down in my plants. So I was not happy about that. So it's ironic that the challenges that these plants have faced goes right along with my topic for this morning. So today I'm going to be talking to you about becoming better, not bitter. In life, we face challenges. Day in and day out, challenges on every hand, it seems. Some of the challenges we face include financial problems. We are underemployed, which means we have a job, but it's not meeting our basic needs. Good morning, LaTanya. So good to see you, sweetie. Thank you for joining us. We have financial problems. We're underemployed, meaning we have a job, but it's not enough to cover our basic needs. So every week, we are in the same situation that we was last week. We're unemployed, meaning we don't have a job at all, or we have a great job, but we are living beyond our means. We make $1 million a year, but we got $2 million worth of debt. That's a challenge. That's a stressful situation all the time. Then other challenges that we don't have enough time to get everything done. We are trying to take care of jobs, families, social obligations. Then we're volunteering at the kids' school. We are volunteering at the church. We are stretched beyond our bandwidth. I got some tips for that, but that's another topic. So we'll talk about that next week. Then we have strained family relationships. That's a challenge. That's always a challenge when you're not speaking to your mother, your spouse. You're living in a household with this person and y'all are not talking, and this has been going on for days. That's a challenge. Health problems, definitely a challenge. Whether it's a short-term illness in which you are trying to get over something like the flu or something of that nature. But I'm going to tell you, there is nothing more challenging than having a long-term chronic illness. You're talking about something that will implode your whole world. That will do it. Then we have the existential crisis where you get up and one day and you're just like, I don't know who I am. I've never known who I was. These are just a few examples of the things that are challenging to us. Then there's death, divorce, car problems, trusting others, trusting ourselves. Many of us we've made so many bad decisions, we don't trust ourselves anymore. Good morning, Crystal. So then there's overcoming deeply embedded fears that we have. There is a never-ending challenges that we face every day. And most often, there's more than one of these happening at one time. The things that happen to us can make us feel like giving up. Just stop doing everything. Like, I can't do it anymore. We keep getting punched in the gut over and over and over again, and we just can't take it anymore. We've been hurt by so many people throughout our life, sometimes our parents, friendships, romantic relationships, that we give up on people and we give up on life. All of these things, they make us angry. They make us angry at others. They make us angry with ourselves. And they make us angry at God. Many of us won't admit it, but we get mad with God. And we hold on to that grudge so tightly, like with clenched fist. When we hold in anger, it makes us salty. We become bitter at life. And it typically just makes us mean. There's no way around it. We all know that person in church that they are so mean that don't nobody want to talk to them or deal with them because they know the attitude and the grief that they're going to get from them. They are bitter. I want to encourage you today to not to become bitter. When we become bitter, pessimistic, mean, and salty, it does more harm to us than it does to anybody else. And we don't realize that. We don't see that. We're going to face challenges in life. And sometimes we are going to have to start over. Please share the video, guys, if you haven't already done so. Yesterday, I saw a post on Facebook that said, "Don't be afraid of starting over. This time you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience." This made me think about the countless surgeries I've had and all the financial and physical challenges that came along with that. Every time I had another surgery, I felt like I was starting from the bottom and that I just couldn't get any traction in life. Here I was, good morning, Kim, at 40 years old and just really didn't have anything because every other year I was having a surgery. But I felt like I was starting from the bottom, but in actuality, I wasn't. Every surgery taught me something important about life. It taught me about the process of surgery and what I was having done. It taught me about recovery. It taught me about financial planning. And now I use everything that I learned in those surgeries in my day-to-day life and when helping others. Experience is the best teacher. Some of those experiences are hard. Some are out of our control, but some are within our control. When we face challenges, I encourage you to ask yourself these two questions. Number one, what is the best option for this situation? Notice I said, what's the best option? Because a lot of times in life, we want to pick what's quick and what's easy. Good morning, Cordell. But what's quick and easy is oftentimes not the best. What's the best in this situation for the long term? And then secondly, ask yourself, how did I contribute to this situation? Sometimes the challenge we face are of our own doing. But not always, but sometimes it is. When you find yourself in the same situation over and over, whether, take relationships, for example, whether that's with your romantic partners or with friendships, if you keep finding yourself in disaster. Good morning, Josh. Oh, that's my nephew, guys. I'm so happy to see you on. Well, it's really my brother's nephew, but that's still my baby. I ain't seen him in a long time, but I love him. If you find yourself in the same type of relationships, whether that's friendship and romantic, over and over again, it's a repeat of the same thing, then you might want to ask yourself, what's the common denominator here? If you find that you're the common denominator, then you want to start asking yourself some questions about how you can start changing the situation, because you get to control who is in your life. Nobody else. You get to control who you allow in your circle. Don't allow life situations to make you bitter. Allow them to make you better. Remember God's word in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13 that says he will never put more on you than you can bear. Life is full of hardships, but it doesn't have to be hard. When life seems to be too much, turn to Jesus. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, tired, stressed out, in my life personally, I like to go to Matthew 11, 28 through 30 that says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me and learn of me. I'm saying that wrong. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When we rest in Jesus, we find rest for our tired, weary souls. And we learn that the burden is light when we give it over to him completely. When you give it to him, you will find answers in the midnight hour. I mean, they will just drop in your spirit and you'll know exactly what to do. But oftentimes we get so consumed and overwhelmed, and we're trying to figure out what the answer is to the problem that we don't ever consult him on it. Good morning, Jay. We don't ever consult him. But when you go to Jesus and you consult him and you give your burdens over to him, you will find your answers in the midnight hour. You will find peace in the middle of your storm, and you will become a better steward over your resources. And the bonus on top of that is you'll discover that you have more resources available to you than you thought. Don't become bitter with life circumstances. Become better. Don't forget the 2 questions that you want to ask yourself whenever you find yourself facing a challenge. Number 1, what's the best option here? Not what's easy, not what's quick, what's the best? What's going to give you the best in the long run? And then 2, how did I contribute to this situation? Let's become better in our life, but not bitter. When you're bitter, it shortens your life. 2, you're not happy. You don't have any kind of joy. And we were created to live in joy. Good morning, Tim. So we want to do those things that are going to help us to live better in every situation. Thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. Remember that in this lifetime, we're going to become better, not bitter. Don't become bitter by life situations, circumstances, and challenges. We're going to all have them. They're always going to be there. There are always going to be multiple ones competing at the same time. But, and remember that life is going to be full of hardships, but it doesn't have to be hard. That's up to you. Ask yourself some questions and continue to press forward. Guys, please share the video. I will talk to you soon. I love you. Bye-bye.